I got it all in front of me.
Did you actually hit the record button though?
No, I did not, sir. I didn't even own this app until you told me to download it. So
okay, so I thought I told you. Like the first thing we do is hit the record button, both of us, so that when one of us is an idiot, such as myself, that we have it recorded. So anyway, that was the podcast. The podcast was one, but we didn't record it. So this is Rev 2 of the podcast, the lesser and less enjoyable podcast, where we're pissed off because we were. But there's no bleeping. We don't have to bleep all the times that I said my favorite old time insult, which is not for public consumption. Okay, let me double check again. Okay.
Now that you're recording, it took away my recording option.
Oh, okay. Well,
so I think it can only be one or the other.
It can only be one. So we're gonna have
only be one.
I had an app that actually set automatically recording, but for some reason I can't get it to work. But that's something. So we're gonna have to start over.
Let's do it, man.
I apologize to everyone listening to this podcast. You missed all the good stuff. We discussed such things as using "okay" instead of beeps for bleeping things. And we went over a lot of insults, but we're going to have to start over now because I am all hat and no cattle when it comes to this.
Quite literally.
This is very much your number 3. So do you want to go back to your number 5?
What was my number 5? Oh, wait. Yeah, okay, I found it. So my number 5 insult is very specific. It is death's head upon a mop stick.
Death's head upon a mop stick.
Yeah, a death. I can't say death. It's plural. Death's
I thought you said
head.
I thought you said desk head upon a mop stick. I was like, desk head.
Yeah. It would go with the specificness, but death's head upon a mop stick, and the definition for that is a poor, miserable, emaciated fellow. He looked as pleasant as the pains of death. So, actually, now that I'm rereading this again, it doesn't sound so much like an insult, but more of like just a cruel, demeaning thing to say to someone.
Like, oh,
this Lord. Yeah. Like, that guy looks like a death's head upon a mop stick. It kind of sounds sad, doesn't it? It's like you're like, oh man.
It's no longer an insult, it's a truism. It's like
that dude's not looking good. Yeah. So that was my number 5.
My number 5. I mean, so I would think that like that kind of brings up like a 1930s thing. Like you're in the Dust Bowl, you're in the Great Depression, and just starving. And the guy can't afford a haircut, and he sells encyclopedias door to door, and most people like kick him and just kick him in the butt and like chase him off their property. What, you think we got money? You death's head upon a mop stick?
Yeah, get out of here. Get. Yeah, I think it follows get pretty good. So you like, get out of here. Get death's head upon a mop stick. There's a lot of words there. You got to be really, really committed to that insult.
My number 5 is shorter. It's like, my number 5 is Dillberry Maker. It's basically the 1811 version of calling someone a poop shoot, and just like a dingleberry maker.
Yeah, like a dingleberry, but it's the dillberries. So yeah, dills are pickles, right?
According to yes,
you're like a poop pickle smell. You're just all kinds of nasty.
Ew. That's so gross. Like
Sorry, I forgot. I can't make poop jokes. Zach gets real uncomfortable.
Like the idea that someone drinks a ton of vinegar just so their poop smells weird. Like if you're a prisoner, if you're like in a prison, you're like captured by a cartel or something, and you just purposely every day all you do is just like chug bottles of vinegar just to make their life miserable.
Oh, jeez. I think that could get you out of prison, actually.
That would get you out of prison one way or another. Most people in prison, like, all right, let's just execute the guy.
Yeah, just kill him. It's too much, the vinegar.
Dillberry Maker is from the 1811 Dictionary of the Vulgar Tongue by Francis Gross. His name is Grose, but I'm pronouncing it gross.
I feel like that is suitable for for the dictionary that he wrote.
Yeah.
So, especially when what was it?
Dillberry maker.
Dillberry maker. I was gonna say dill. You know what? It's not for the PG podcast. But I thought it was something else. Yeah.
Beep it. I like the idea that the death's head upon a mop stick is going around when he's selling encyclopedias. They're like, the Encyclopedia Britannica. No, the 1811 Dictionary of the Vulgar Tongue. Get out of here. Death's head upon a mop stick.
Yeah, they would use it against that guy. That is the very specific guy. That is to be tortured in that way. Which would go with my number 4, which again, this is well, I shouldn't say again because we had to record after the podcast.
Yeah. Not again. This didn't happen. We've been recording the whole time. I'm seriously glad that I don't have to bleep anything out though, because I didn't want to have to bleep all the.
It was so much effort. You make it sound like we just had the worst conversation the first go around.
No, we didn't have much conversation. There's just the most popular old-timey insult is a very bleepable one.
Oh, right. That's true. Okay.
I'm not mentioning it now. I don't want to have to bleep.
The number 4 that I picked was heathen philosopher. And so the definition that I loved about this was one whose buttocks, I love that word, buttocks, may be seen through his pocket hole. And then it goes into more specifically describing the saying arose from the old philosophers, many of whom despised the vanity of dress to such a point as often to fall into the opposite extreme.
So, I like fall into the opposite extreme of dress. Like they're nudists. They're nudist philosophers. That's...
Yeah. No, but they're heathen philosophers. Heathen philosopher. And establishing that this is the type of insult that you would yell at someone in the parking lot at Costco. I don't know why Costco, but I was just there today, so it feels right.
Well, they're there to buy a 6-pack of pants.
Yeah.
Because all their current pants are heathen philosopher pants.
And I hope, Zach, that I hope for you, out of my goals for you in life, is that you will be blessed enough one day to see someone who has a hole in the back of their pants. So you can very specifically call them a heathen philosopher. And then my extra goal, so my reach goal, it's important to set goals, Zach, would be that person would know what that means.
Yeah. They just have a look like, how dare you?
I have a hole in my pants. That's what he's talking about. I am a heathen philosopher.
Backwards. I would be best friends with anyone who knows that off the top of their head. I don't know that off the top of my head. After this podcast, I will have forgotten that. And I will always have a spot in my soul where I should have heathen philosopher. Like
put it on your headstone. Realize Zach Harris, a heathen philosopher.
See, that's the thing. If you're walking through a graveyard, you're like, oh, wow, he was a heathen philosopher. This guy was different. No, he just had holes in his pants. He just
had bare buttocks.
I like the name The Heathen Philosophers for a band because the implication that at some point they're going to be a nudist band.
Which an ironic. The irony would be that Bare Naked Ladies is not a nudist band. But the heathen philosophers, they got places to go.
I've obviously never Googled this. Like nudist bands seem like they would probably be a thing.
Yeah, I think it would be risky to Google. I think you're right in not Googling it.
Hey, on Totally Unobjective, things you should not do. Oh, by the way, hey, we skipped the description. So, hey, welcome to Freaking Epic Podcast. We're a few minutes in. We are a podcast of all things freaking epic, and today's me and Chris Duran. We're talking about we're doing a segment called Totally Unobjective, and this is where we do top 5 lists of different things. But don't retweet us. Retweet us. Sure, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Don't add us like saying like, "Hey, you're wrong," because this is unobjective. This is totally unobjective. Yeah. This is unobjective. We're wrong. We're wrong about everything we are going to say here. This entire thing. of course, now you can add us, but you can just like add us and say, here's my totally unobjective list. That's a fun activity to do with your kids, family, or a fun activity to do with your family, kids, or a fun activity to do with your dog. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Do you know what's the problem of what's happening here? The problem is my number 4. I'm being my number 4, which is
dude, every time.
Every time. All hat, no cattle.
All hat, no cattle. We didn't establish the country accent. You need to have the redneck. He's all hat and no cattle.
All hat, no cattle.
Yep.
That is an empty boaster, a person who is all talk and no action, and i.e. someone who bought a big hat to look like a cowboy, but doesn't have any cattle. Which nowadays I think no cowboys have cattle. So like we have raised an entire generation that is all hat and no cattle.
Literally.
Time,
it is literally. Why? I want to know why you use the inclusive word "we" as if you and I have raised the entire generation.
I have worn a cowboy hat. Actually, I haven't worn a cowboy hat on many occasions. I have worn an Indiana Jones hat on many occasions, and I don't own a whip. I own a whip now that I think about it. I got it in a white elephant gift exchange at my family's house, which is exactly how you would picture a white elephant gift exchange at my family's house.
I have no mental picture for a white elephant gift exchange at your house, unless you were exchanging rice or.
No. I opened the gift and it was a whip.
Indiana Jones whip.
Yeah. Well, no, it was like a Tibetan whip. I don't know why.
Yeah, so if we have a sound for bleep, we need a word for right on the line.
Right on.
Yeah.
Are you to do that? Okay.
There's a direction that we can go with this joke, and maybe we should just say that. Yeah, it's right on the line. Let's move on.
Hold on. What? See, none of the insults we've had so far. It's a heathen philosopher. No, it just doesn't. We have to find one of the insults that specifically is for like things that are on the line.
Okay. All right. We'll review that.
In order to prove that we at this podcast at Totally Unobjective are not all hat and no cattle, we're going to go to number 3 on Chris's list.
All right. So number 3, I was excited about. Again, I like these specific insults, like things, situations, circumstances that you would never find yourself in.
I feel like people used to put themselves in more often, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, so that's why it's an insult to begin with, because it happened more than once, right?
Yeah.
So this one starts off like a compliment, because it starts off with gentlemen.
Okay.
But then you take a right turn and it gets nasty, and you say gentlemen of 4 outs.
Gentlemen of 4 outs. Okay.
Gentlemen of
so
4 outs.
What you're saying is baseball, and they're out even more than all of the outs?
3 outs. Yeah, but no, the specific definition is when a vulgar, blustering fellow asserts that he is a gentleman, the retort generally is, yes, a gentleman of 4 outs. And it goes on to describe that is without wit, without money, without credit, and then, of course, my personal favorite, without manners. And I have to say it in an English accent. I don't.
I just imagine a woman nearby standing with a fan, and she's like, oh, just like each one is just a little bit worse, and then she hears no manners and just faints.
No manners.
No manners. A gentleman of 4 outs. I was hoping it was only the 3.
That's the ultimate out, man. Like, you can be without wit, without money, without credit, but if you don't have manners, that is rough.
Yeah. I mean, before it was just like, oh, you're a dillberry maker. Ooh, ouch. You're all hat and no cattle. But without manners is the ultimate. I like that is the ultimate insult in their society. You,
yeah, in the list of. Well, I mean, because you can. I don't know why credit is on there. If it's an old timey, it must not mean.
Well, it probably like credit with the bank. Like you can't because you have no money, but you could have credit with the bank, so you could purchase lands or goods to sell or whatever. But like you don't even have any credit means, I would guess, like I've watched a lot of BBC productions of Jane Austen books, so
I'm not shocked at all here. Not shocked in the slightest.
my fourth favorite movie of all time, if we ever get to that, is Pride and Prejudice, the 2005 one, the good one. There are lots of good ones actually, but the best one. But
Yeah.
no credit just is like, just imagine a guy who, you have no money, sir, but that's fine. Of course, you could gain money if you had credit. You have no credit, and I like the idea that there's like a second meaning. You have no credit as a human, like no street cred, no creds whatsoever.
No cred. Yeah, I keep going to the English accent. I don't know. I don't know why that's my default.
Because they're old insults. Old insults are all old-timey voices, and old-timey voices are all British accents.
It's so formal.
Number 3 on mine, I'm going Shakespeare, and that is bed swerver. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it means bed swerver. It literally means someone who wanders from their partner into another person's bed, but it actually comes from the Dutch. So it's not an English word, weirdly enough. It's from the Dutch words bed, which means bed, and zwerver.
Shaka.
Zwerver means wanderer. Zwerver. So it means exactly what it sounds. Even though it's in a different language, it still means exactly the same thing, which I like the dual meaning. You're just like you're a cheater. You're a cheater. Even worse, you're a bed swerver.
Yeah, I think for some reason the first name I go to is someone named Anne.
Anne.
Well, oh gosh, if that was her name, she would. So they'd be like, "You think Anne is ever going to get married? Oh, on the bed swerver? Yeah." So
well,
that's
17 times. They wouldn't call her a bed swerver. I like to think they wouldn't call her a bed swerver because she's unmarried. There's no bed to swerve from. You're only a bed swerver if you're married. In my mind, based purely on what I know of the 2005 edition of Pride and Prejudice.
You have a very specific reference for that, but
okay.
I feel like it
I am super excited now. Do you know why I'm excited, dear listener, or dearest Christopher? I'm excited because I haven't actually heard this one before, because this is where we realized we weren't freaking recording. So number 2, I haven't heard your number 2. What is your number?
I hope you wouldn't hear my number 2s.
Yes, you are quite the dillberry maker.
I believe you've heard this one, but maybe I went out of order.
Oh, okay. Maybe I have.
That's okay. So my word, it's a 2-parter, and I like 2-parters because I feel like you could put the right emphasis on it. You know what? I get this visual, Zach, of like you're in a fight, right? And so you got your left fist up and your right fist up. And so a 2-part insult is essentially a left jab and a right jab. You know, like a left jab and a hook.
Having a straight or hook, yeah. It's soften them up a little, bam!
Bam, boom, right? And so the phrasing that I picked for this one is saucebox. And I get real excited when I say it. That's a real saucebox. And the description is a bold or forward person. And so I love it because it's almost like there's a couple ways you can go at it. Some of these other insults were like a third person thing, like you're talking about somebody who's not in the room.
Yeah,
but
that's
this
true.
One can be.
You can't like directly call it. Like you're not like head upon a mop stick. It's just weird. Like you condescendingly or sadly behind someone's back. You're like, that boy is death's head on a mop stick, and everyone else, like all the other old ladies in your gin club. Not gin, the alcohol, but that too. In your gin club, they all just look and just nod their heads sadly. Yeah.
You know what I think it is? All the syllables. If you're going to insult someone in person, like to their face, it's got to be quick. It's got to be quick. So you can't be like death's head upon a mop stick because there's too much going on, right?
You could say gentlemen of 4. What was it? Gentlemen of 4 outs.
Outs. I want to say oats.
Oots. Gentlemen of 4 oots. I don't think you would call that like you wouldn't. That's not a directly at someone. That's like hi, sir, I'm a gentleman. Ah, yes, a gentleman of 4 outs. Oh, a sauce box, I assume. So you're right. I did hear this one before, and so I got like sad. I was like, oh, I know this one. We've already discussed. I'm so excited for a new thing.
But it's like getting in someone's face and so somebody's being bold or forward to me. You know, they're just like, I don't know. Maybe they just ask you a question like, how big a boy are you?
How many times have people asked you, how big a boy are you?
Well, it's like a challenge, you know, like they're trying to fight you. Like, how big a boy are you? You want to go? You want to go? And you'd be like, what are you, a sauce box? Get out of my face. Freaking sauce box.
I've never once heard anyone say, how big a boy are you? Like, I don't think this is accurate. I'm 95% sure this is not going to happen.
Maybe I'll just pull that out of the air. But the point is, sauce box would be the appropriate response for any such thing. Or even a third person insult, you know, like, I just got done with that cashier. What a real sauce box. And I think it's the emphasis on sauce. It's almost Jersey, right? Sauce box. Yeah, sauce box. Yeah, I like it.
So when in like the 1800s, early 1900s, sauce was a slang term for alcohol. Are you on the sauce? So like it basically is like saying someone's just drunk all the time. Like, yes, sauce box.
Yes, sauce box. Yeah, I like it.
I'm excited. Chris, would you like to hear one you've never heard? Or possibly you've heard. I mean, you might have
made it up
once in your life. No, I didn't make it up. It's a real old time. All right. My number 2 is Duke of Limbs.
Duke of Limbs. Well, I will say I've never heard of Duke of Limbs.
So we're so awkward. Like when you're like really clumsy and awkward and you're tripping over everything. There goes the Duke of Limbs.
It is very.
It's much
limbs. What?
Yeah. Just the idea of someone who's like so gangly, they're the Duke of Limbs. Their limbs are all over the place and they're not properly.
Can't control them.
Yeah.
I like it. The Duke of Limbs. What a Duke of Limbs.
It's that poor death's head on a mop stick. He's a real Duke of Limbs.
He said, "Oh man, you're adding them all together now." I don't know if you want to do that, man. That's brutal.
No, that's what I'm gonna do in 5 minutes of nonsense. The new podcast coming from the Freaking Epic Podcast eventually. Probably not.
Dude, I feel like we could do these insults for every podcast. I would almost be okay with that.
We're just reading. Well, we'll do part 2. Like in like 2 months, we'll do part 2.
Whoa.
Did you just say whoa?
Whoa, 2 months? What are you all hat, no cattle?
I mean, that's why that's why I don't want to do these too often. I don't want to become all hat, no cattle. I don't want people to come in for like fancy insults and then get like unfancy, boring insults.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Actually, what we can do, for serious, we can do like pick random cultures and find their insults. So like our 5 favorite Spanish insults, our 5 favorite Australian insults. Like we can, there are a lot of ways we could do this. My personal favorite, our 5 favorite real life snapbacks, like someone
things
just
that have actually happened.
Yeah, like the one with the what is it? The Spartans where the Prince of Macedonia or the King of Macedonia was like, if I come to your city, it will be burnt, or like, if I come to your city, it'll be burned to the ground and every last person will be killed or whatever. And the Spartans literally just sent back, if. That was their entire response. And the guy
never pretty solid burn. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so we can go old school burns too. So there's a lot
we'll learn things about history on the show.
Yeah.
We'll teach our listeners about history.
Learn things about history. That's what these listeries are for. Boo-doo, boo-doo, boo.
And there's the jingle, folks. Okay, so my number 2.
I would just to put it out there. The description of this podcast is like all things freaking awesome, movies and video games, and I think the last one is and unnecessary jingles. So just to warn you, that's gonna happen a lot.
I'm excited for it. All right, so my number 2.
For one. Oh wait, number 2?
Are we on 2 or 1? I don't know.
I think Saucebox was number 2. I mean, right. Do you have 2 more? Because you could go number 1 and number 1 or 1.
I could dig up his man. I have the internet in front of me. Zach, the sky is the limit.
Sky is the limit.
Okay.
All right, what's your number one?
Okay. All right. Again, I like specific insults. Okay. So this one is afternoon fama. You afternoon fama. And yeah. So what this means, again, good words in the description here. A laggard, a farmer who rises late and is behind in his chores, hence anyone who loses his opportunities. So it'd be like if somebody misses out, basically, because you're an afternoon farmer. If you get your crap together, you wouldn't have to worry about that, you know?
You afternoon farmer, all hat and no cattle.
Yeah, these are very specific to the country, right?
It turns out that most of history was agrarian society. So,
like, as it turns out, shocker. Apparently, that's my word for the night.
Yeah, so yes, farmer, like just a person who's late to the party.
Yeah.
Like, anytime you want to say like late. By the way, there's a party tonight, and I'm going to be late to it. I think it just started 2 minutes ago, and it's like an hour.
So you're an afternoon farmer.
I am. I haven't taken a shower. That's how you know I'm an afternoon farmer.
We'll discuss that later. Unnecessary for the podcast.
I'll bleep it. I'll cut it.
So yeah, that was my numero uno, sir.
Delightful. My number one is not. I don't know if it's a general term. I don't know how many people used it. I just know that it is my favorite Teddy Roosevelt insult. Teddy Roosevelt used it. I don't know on who. All I know is Roosevelt used it, and it's awesome. It is fragrant man swine.
Fragrant man swine. That is good.
You fragrant man swine.
So there's the smell.
Yeah.
The comparison to a pig.
I just like the man swine. Like,
yeah.
If you called someone fragrant swine, I'd be like, I mean, whatever. But fragrant man swine, I don't know. There's just something about it that entertains me. And it's just the idea, you fragrant man swine. Like the idea of I don't know if that's Teddy Roosevelt's accent. I've never heard him, but I like the idea of Teddy Roosevelt just staring someone down, and they're like, but and then he's just like, fragrant man swine. I'm citing the Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, so it's like an under the breath. The way you said it was like an under the breath insult. Fragrant man swine. Yeah. I like it. I like it. Good times. So I want to do a quick fire off because I have, of course, again, I have the power of the internet at my fingertips. So I want to do a quick fire off of these, right? And some of these you've heard. Actually, I think the ones you've heard. So I'm just going to fire these off real quick, okay? We got scamp. We got
scamp is
scoundrel.
Scoundrel. Oh, yeah, of course.
There's shabaroon.
Oh, a shabaroon?
Shabaroon.
Shabaroon. Is that what that rap song's about?
It sounds like it. Dude, we could write that. It's there
is a rap song. I think it's like Shabaray or something, but I never figured out what the heck it means. I don't remember who it's by. It's by like Schoolboy Q or something. But I could never figure out what it means. And in my mind, for the rest of history, he's saying shabaroon. He's calling them a shabaroon. What does that mean?
Shabaroon, an ill-dressed, shabby fellow. Also, a mean-spirited person. That guy's a real shabaroon.
I like it.
That one. Skinflint.
Skinflint. Yeah, Skinflint was popular in like the 50s, so I know that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the books and radio shows I read and listened to were all like Skinflint was pretty common when I was growing up.
Nice. Slug-a-bed. You know that?
Slug-a-bed, yeah.
Slug-a-bed. A sneaksby.
A sneaksby?
Yeah, sneaksby.
Huh. What is a sneaksby?
A mean-spirited fellow. It does say sneaking, cowardly man.
I wonder if
Sneaksby.
adding the end of people's last names on, because everyone's name ends with B. Lord Sotheby, Lord whatever, and then it's like, you're Sneaksby.
That's good, because that's a good way to insult too. We should address that. Like, you just attach someone's name to some sort of ending, and suddenly it's like a
That's a very Harrisley thing to do.
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't take bum.
It's
Zach's bum. You're being a real Zach's bum. You know.
Yeah, my bum is. I mean, it's true. People see my bum all the time because I am a heathen philosopher.
You are a heathen philosopher.
Actually, that's not. That's honestly even true. Like 4 pairs of my pants have holes in near the butt.
You were literally a heathen philosopher. We're changing the name of the podcast to Heathen Philosophers Club. The next one.
We'd have to come up with a different concept, but I'm completely down with having Heathen Philosophers Club. Actually, I have a heathen philosopher. Like my friend Justin became a heathen philosopher. Like he literally worships like Frigga and Freya and the gods of the Norse. Like he is a philosopher. He's literally a heathen philosopher. Actually, I know a lot of heathen philosophers. Weirdly enough.
I would not question that at all. The next one is Spoony.
Spoony.
Which is foolish, half-witted, nonsensical.
Yes, Spoony. You spoony dame.
Yes, spoony dame. And then just a couple more real quick. Sting bum, which is a stingy or ungenerous person. So they walk by a homeless person and don't give them anything. There's real sting bum. And then this last one, I'm wondering. Okay, it's unlicked cub.
Unlicked cub.
Unlicked cub. This again has a very specific definition. A lutish. I don't even know what that word is. Lutish youth who has never been taught manners. Again, we're back to manners.
Manners.
They've never been taught manners. From the tradition of the bear's cub, when brought into the world, has no shape or symmetry until its mother licks it into form with her tongue. Ill-trained, uncouth. Ooh, uncouth is good. And rude.
Yeah. The uncouth youth. I mean, we're coming up with band names left and right, like podcasts left and right.
So yeah, if it's like a little punk kid, he's an unlicked cub.
Would you like to find these are a couple I found in my research, which they aren't specific insults, they're just like snapbacks. Would you like just a couple of these real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so Emperor Nero was trying to he wanted to kill his mom, and he eventually did. He actually tried to accidentally kill her, and eventually he gave up and just sent straight up a servant to kill her. And when the servant came to kill her, she pointed at her womb and said, "Strike here. That's where Nero came from."
Wow.
Yeah. Just
wow.
I mean, I get, given the circumstances, you might as well. The second,
I don't even know how to respond to that. Oh man! All right, what's the second?
Things just got real. Things just got real.
They got real. They got real.
So a guy named Metellus Nepos asked Cicero repeatedly. Apparently, I'm very into the Romans here. Cicero was like not from a noble family. He was not from like a famous noble family. He was kind of a nobody by birth. So the Metellus,
more like a sister, no, am I right?
Oh, actually, I feel like that's a thing gay people ask each other, like cis or no. No.
Wow. Yeah, I think you're gonna have to edit that out. Continue, Zach.
And every episode, I'm like, up, and now we're screwed. So he asked, "Oh, who is your father?" Because he's just like pointing out the fact that he's a nobody. He's like, "Who's your father?" Cicero said, "In your case, your mother has made it difficult to answer that question."
Wow.
I just came across
these are real things that have happened?
Yeah, these are real things that have happened.
That's impressive.
If you want to do we should do clapbacks soon. Like those are some clapbacks of history. Epic clapbacks of history.
Yeah. I like it. I'm down.
I've looked up, there's a lot of weird things that you come up with when looking for these. Like, I found an article that's literally just graffiti from Pompeii. It's just like random graffiti, and people are like insulting each other, and I mean, actually, one guy on the gladiator barracks, he wrote, "On April 19th, I made bread." It's people were as dumb with graffiti as they are now. Like, but there's also
They write
like
on the.
I wrote, "I screwed the barmaid." Like that was one of the graffitis they found on.
So it's real. It's real deep. It's real thoughtful.
Real Marcus loves Spindusa. That's a classic.
Marcus.
It's exactly like writing your heart on a tree, except no one nowadays is named Spindusa, which is probably good.
Oh, well, I feel like that's a catchy name right there, Spindusa.
Spindusa and the Doctors. All right.
So it's a band. It's a band.
Yeah, everything's a band. I was seeing online. Someone wrote that Let's Make a Podcast is the 2010s version of Let's Start a Band.
What?
Yeah.
Let's reiterate that.
People used to say, like, hey, let's start a band. Now people are like, hey, let's start a podcast. It's the equivalent.
Okay. So that makes sense. But we're actually doing it. You're not all hat, no cattle. Exactly.
I am not all hat, no cattle. I think that's a good place to end it. So thanks, guys, for listening to Totally Unobjective with me and Chris. And hope you'll listen next time. Don't be all hat, no cattle. Don't be a heathen philosopher.
Yeah. Or the mop stick. Death's head on a mop stick.
Yeah. All right. Later. And I do you want to hang up now? Do you want to for ease of editing?
Well, we can hang up now.
Okay. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening. I just wanted to take a moment and ask you guys if you would like us, comment us, on us, comment for us, comment through us if you wish, subscribe, leave us a good review on iTunes, follow us, retweet, double click the picture for a little heart thing, make a listicle about the 7 times we reminded you of cute cats, give us a thumbs up like an emperor of old deciding who lives and who dies, give us a rating of 95 in Red Wine Lovers Weekly, right swipe us on Tinder, Friendster us on Friendster, and add us to your top 8 friends on MySpace. Thank you. I just want to thank you so much for doing all those things for us and for listening. Definitely for listening.